So by now you've heard that the National Association of Realtors, or NAR, has reached a settlement agreement with the plaintiffs of several of the cases they're litigating across the U.S. Here's what you need to know. First up, the settlement has not yet been approved by the judge. Second, if the settlement is approved, changes will go into effect in July 2024. Until then, everything remains the same. All right, third up, here are the important details of the settlement as we know them so far. First of all, NAR will pay the plaintiffs of the settlement an amount of $418 million over 4 years, but does not admit any wrongdoing. Next, the requirements to provide an offer of compensation to buyers' brokers on the MLS will be eliminated. However, these terms can still be negotiated off the MLS. This is a problem, in my opinion, because it erases the recently added requirement to publicly list the buyer's agent commission, which had been established to provide better transparency for consumers. Now, buyers will be required to sign a buyer representative agreement with realtors before the realtor shows the buyer any properties. While this had been previously or currently a suggestion by NAR, some states, such as Maryland, already have this as a legal requirement. So here's what will not change if the judge accepts this settlement agreement. The commission amount to be paid by a home seller to the seller's agent has always been negotiable and still will be. The media has been incorrectly reporting that there is a mandatory commission rate and that rate is 6% of the sales price. There is no mandatory rate. The problem, in my opinion, is there have been real estate agents out there telling sellers that there is a mandatory rate. Now, to be clear, each agent has the right to set minimum rates and terms at which they are willing to do their work. So an agent can state that they are not willing to list the home for less than 6%, but the home seller would then have the right to not agree to those terms, not sign the agreement, and choose a different agent. That said, the average commission rates have not been 6% for at least a decade, although the luxury market does differ. What's been the norm for some time now is between 4 to 5%. Typically, the listing agreement further states that the seller's broker is authorized and instructed to give half of that commission to the buyer's agent, although the split between the two agents doesn't have to be an even split. In some states, like California, real estate agents representing a buyer can attempt to renegotiate their share of the commission with the seller's agent. However, in other states, like Maryland, once the commission rates are listed in the MLS, they cannot be changed. Now, here's what we can expect to change if the settlement is approved by the judge. The buyer agent's commission becomes a negotiable term. Buyers are best protected when they have a realtor guiding them through the process and negotiating on their behalf, but it's unreasonable to expect buyer agents to work for free or for unclear terms. As it is, buyer agents work many hours, sometimes months, other times even years, helping home buyers shop for a home but are not paid until and unless those buyers actually complete a home purchase with them. Just like any other working person, buyer agents are going to need a clear path to being compensated for their work. Because the buyer agent's commission would no longer be specified and therefore made a legal requirement of the purchase, buyer agents will need to clearly set the terms of their work, commission rates, and terms of payment up front with the buyers in the buyer representative agreement. Home buyers will most likely be expected to guarantee they will cover their agent's commission expectation if the seller of the home they choose to purchase will not. Of course, this commission rate will also be negotiable at the time the agreement is made, and each party will have the right to refuse. This means if a home seller is unwilling to pay a buyer agent's commission through the purchase of their home, and therefore out of the funds the buyer financed to cover their home purchase, buyers will need to have cash available to compensate their agent at the close of their purchase. This would greatly increase the cost of purchasing a home, and while that might not be a deterrent for the wealthy, it has the potential to eliminate the hopes of home ownership for everyone else. The listing prices of homes will likely be more variable, requiring deeper research when doing comparative pricing. The prices of homes reflect the associated cost of selling the home. That includes commissions. It's never been accurate to say that buyers don't pay real estate commissions. Sellers who plan to not provide commission to the buyer's agent through the sale of their home should anticipate buyers who expect the purchase price to be reduced by the value that would have been the buyer's agent's commission amount. I'm concerned for the American homebuyer, for the average American homebuyer, if this settlement is approved, and it's looking like it probably will be. It's going to be more critical than ever that home buyers interview several real estate agents before choosing who they're going to work with, and look at each one of their buyer representative agreement and meticulously look through those terms. Because while you were always looking for someone who was going to work for you and who had the kind of work ethic and outlook that was compatible with you, now you're also going to have to see if you can afford them, because the chances are that many more home sellers are going to now not be willing to pay for the buyer agent's commission, and the home buyer is going to have to come up with that cash at the closing table. For me, the question remains, if this settlement goes through, who really benefits?